Hi friends, my name is Amity and this is Read by Amity, and today we are doing my version of the mid-year freakout tag, my reading stats wrapped for the first 6 months of the year. Essentially, we're just checking in on how my reading's going. I haven't posted a video since my March wrap up. I did film an April wrap up and I was intending on doing a 30 books in 30 days vlog for the month of May, but I did complete 30 books in 30 days in May, but the vlogging side of things kind of went off the rail. So I decided not to do that, and then obviously because I read 30 books in 30 days, I didn't have any time to film anything, and I was kind of burnt out for the month of June in terms of being on camera and creating content. So I was kind to myself in June. I didn't set any expectations. I didn't set any reading goals. I did read 6 books in June. So since I spoke to you last, I have read 40 books, 4 in April, I'm pretty sure, 30 in May, and then 6 books in June. We will go through them at some point, but today is not the day for that. Today we are talking about my mid-year stats. So I have my story graph up here. I have read a total of 79 books this year so far, approximately 20,284 pages and 116.27 hours according to Storygraph. Those stats are a little bit skewed because there are books that I partially read and partially listened to, but they are only logged as physical books because I majority read the physical book and maybe only listened to a portion of it, or if I immersion read the book, I would log it as a physical. So the only time I logged a book as an audiobook was when I purely read it as an audiobook. The average time it took for me to finish a book was 5 days for this month, and that's for this half of the year, and that's something that has been pretty consistent throughout all of my reading stats. Every time I look at my average time to finish a book, it's usually between the 3 and 6 days. So that makes total sense to me. The moods that are on Storygraph says that my most read mood was dark. Dark at 39 books, adventurous at 33 books, and then after that, mysterious, tense, reflective, funny, emotional, lighthearted, informative, sad, challenging, hopeful, relaxing, and inspiring. The pace that I read the most of was medium-paced books at 58%, followed by fast-paced books at 35%, which I do think that my reading month in May really contributed to that because I read so many short books. They kind of inherently are fast-paced. And then 8% of my reading was slow books. Page number, as in page count, I read the majority of my books under 300 pages. Again, that's thanks to the reading trend that I had in May, because I did read 30 books roughly under 250 pages. Then we have 300 pages to 499 pages at 35%, and books over 500 pages at 12%. Audiobook lengths are pretty even in terms of timing, but below 8 hours and between 8 and 16 hours are both at 46%, and then books over 16 hours at 8%. One of my goals every year has been, for the last couple of years, 3 years I think actually, has been to try and incorporate nonfiction that I'm interested in. And so my goal for each year is to read 1 nonfiction book on average per month. So it's just finished the 6th month. I'm recording this on the 1st of July, and I have read 87% fiction and 13% nonfiction, with a total number of nonfiction books being 10. So I am 4 books ahead of my goal at the moment for nonfiction books. In terms of genre books, followed by romance, which kind of comes hand in hand with fantasy, literary fiction, horror, thriller, historical, contemporary, and it goes down from there. In terms of the format, I have read, again, this is a little bit skewed, but for the most part, it's pretty accurate, but 71% of my books I read in physical format, 16% in audio, and 13% in digital. My most read author this year is Cassandra Clare with 9 books read. That's because I'm doing a Shadowhunters universe reread. And yes, I have read City of Bones, City of Ashes, City of Glass, City of Fallen Angels, City of Lost Souls, Clockwork Angel, Clockwork Prince, Clockwork Princess, The Red Scrolls of Magic. Yes, and that's it. So, yeah, I am a little bit behind on my reread actually, but I'm still trucking along. And then after Cassandra Clare, it's KF Breen. I have been listening to I think it's called Leveling Up series, potentially. The Magical Midlife, all of those books. I'm not totally enjoying them, but it is my aunt's favourite series, so I did promise that I would read it, and so think I'm up to book 6. I'm about to start book 6, so we're getting there. Nevo as well was another one that I've read 5 books from, and that was during the month of May. I read almost all of the Singing Hills cycle that are out and loved most of those, and still think about them. So they were all library books. I'm potentially going to get myself a copy of that series. My average star rating is 3.85 stars, which is pretty good for this point in the year, and the majority of my books are rated 4 stars. I find star ratings a little bit hard to predict nowadays because it really depends on the mood I'm in. I could rate a book almost 5 stars to 5 stars because I really enjoyed my time with it, but it's not super impactful or anything like that. And then the next time I'm reading a book, I'm really harsh and strict on how I rate it. So I don't think it's fair to be comparing them, and I don't know, I might be changing up the way that I rate books in the future. But yeah, I've noticed, especially this year, that my rating is very inconsistent. Sometimes I just go off a vibe. Sometimes I am looking at certain components of the book. You just never know. But that's essentially all of the reading stats that I have. So now we will go through the mid-year freakout questions. So the mid-year freakout tag is actually the first YouTube video that I ever made on this channel, but I did combine that tag with the BookTube newbie tag. It was created not the BookTube newbie tag, the mid-year freakout tag was created quite a long time ago by, I want to say, is that Cami and Earl Grey Books from way back in the day. So the first question is the best book you've read so far in 2026. I have not prepared my answer for this, so let me think. I do have a couple of contenders for this one. Okay, so the best book that I have read so far in 2026 is actually going to be a non-fiction, and I've spoken about it on the channel already, and that is The Hidden Life of Trees by Peter Wohlleben. I first read the graphic novel adaptation of this book and rated it 5 stars, and then I read it again before I returned it to the library, and I just can't get enough of it. I ummed and ahed about whether I was going to read the novel version of the book, but I thought I need to. I'd love the graphic novel so much, but it is more tailored towards a younger audience. So them probably is going to be more information that I can glean from the book if I read the actual novel. And so I did in May, and again, a 5-star read. This has completely changed the way that I look at the world. Not that I was not knowledgeable of nature and trees and how trees help us live and literally are the reason we are still here, but just reading a book about this person's connection with nature and how important it is to look after nature, I loved it. I loved it. And now every time I look out the window at my house, I look at all the trees, like, I just love them. So yes, I highly recommend, if you're wanting a nonfiction to read that isn't too dense and hard to wrap your head around, and something that actually holds your attention and you're compassionate about animals and nature and the world around us. Is compassionate the right word? Maybe. I highly recommend The Hidden Life of Trees. The other contender for that title is actually going to be the winner of the next question, and that is the best sequel you have read so far in 2026. And for me, this is a no-brainer, because I can't believe that I had never read this book, and that is Clockwork Princess. If all of you will have, but if you haven't read the Infernal Devices trilogy, please do yourself a favor and read this trilogy, because when I tell you, I think about this book and the characters in it on a daily basis, and I'm pretty sure I read this in February, possibly March. Just incredible. No notes. I was laid out on this floor in the library reading this, sobbing my eyes out. I love this book, and I definitely want to reread the trilogy, but I'm just not ready to yet. But yeah, 100% the best sequel I have read so far this year. Then we have a new release that I haven't read yet that I want to, and I'm just going to look at the books that I have purchased recently. Oh, well, I mean, this is an obvious one. It's a bit tight in there. But The Ballad of Falling Dragons, I haven't read yet. Wretch by Eric LaRocca, I haven't read yet. I really want to. What is another one? Ache of Chaos by Randy Garner, I haven't read yet. I really want to. This series, I can't remember what it's called, but The Fragile Divine. That series is incredible. I am waiting for the audiobook to come out, which should be soon, so that I can immersive read, because that's how I read the first two. So I want to keep up that trend. And one that I bought recently, there it is. Wifedom by Anna Funder. This is Mrs. Orwell's Invisible Life. So it's kind of a biography of sorts on George Orwell's wife and everything she was going through during the time that he was writing all of his novels, and, you know, her life around then. So definitely want to get to this one soon as well. But yeah, I'm not sure if that's actually a new release or if it has been out for a little bit, but I did buy it recently. Okay, so this edition was published in 2025, so I guess it doesn't really count, but anyway, still excited to get to that. Then we have most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Well, I can say it counts. The I can't remember what it's called now, but the sequel to In the Veins of the Drowning by Kaylee Cassidy. This is the cover here. It actually came out today, I'm pretty sure, so I'm going to get to that very quickly. Definitely anticipating that one. And what else? Off the top of my head, I can't remember exactly what books are coming out in the end of the year, but I did do a video of all of the anticipated releases that I have for this year. So I might pop a few up here that I am excited to get to if they haven't already come out yet. And then the next question is the biggest disappointment of the year so far. Actually, I don't need to look. I know what the biggest disappointment of the year so far is because I was so highly anticipating this. Actually, I've got two. I just remembered I have a second one. The first one is Operation Bounce House by Matt Dinnerman. This is probably going to be an unhaul for me. That's how disappointed I am in it. I was really looking forward to this one. I have read all of the Dungeon Crawler Carl books that have been released up until now. It's one of my favourite series from last year that I had read. I was really looking forward to this. The premise, the commentary that I was expecting in it, and it just did not deliver the way I was hoping for it to. I still rated it, I think 3 stars, roughly 3 stars, but I was expecting it to be a god tier book, so that's unfortunate. And I'm just looking for the other book. The other biggest disappointment of my reading year so far was Half His Age by Jeanette McCurdy. This one I really wanted to love. I was really rooting for Jeanette to write fiction because I did love I'm Glad My Mum Died so much when it came out. And I think there's still potential there for her to be a great author. However, this book just felt like such a self-insert of a character, and I could not get on board with kind of the message that it was portraying. And I know that Jeanette has spoken about the book and has said what her intentions were, but I feel like it just did not translate that way. So unfortunately, it was a huge disappointment for me. I did, again, still rate it an average of 2.5 to 3 stars, I think. However, I was anticipating it to be a 5-star read. So to me, the biggest disappointment books is not really the worst rated. It's more the ones that have let me down the most. The biggest surprise of 2026. The biggest surprise for 2026 was Butcher and Blackbird, or The Butcher and Blackbird by Bryn Weaver, I think it is. I really did not like Lights Out by Navessa Allen. I wanted it to be more stabby, less smutty romance. And I know that it is a smutty romance, so it's not fair of me to go into that book with those expectations. However, the way that people spoke about it, I was expecting there to be a little bit more psycho killer, kind of stalkery, campy killer vibes. I don't know what I'm saying, but that's what I was expecting. So I was hesitant to go into Butcher and Blackbird because I had heard that it was worse than Lights Out, but I did it and it was a 4.5 star for me. It was exactly the kind of humor and crazy murderous plot mixed with hot, steamy yearning and romance. So definitely a huge surprise for me, and I'm so glad that I read that. I am hesitant to read the sequels, but we'll see. I might go into them. And my camera's about to die, so I'll pick this back up again shortly. We're back. It has been multiple hours since I last spoke to you because my camera died and I had to charge it, and then I went out and ran some errands, and now we're back. So the last question that we spoke about was the biggest surprise of 2026 so far, and my answer was, I think, Butcher and Blackbird by Bryn Weaver. The next question is favorite new author, debut, or new to you? So I had a quick look through all of the books that I have read so far this year, and I think for it to be a favorite new author, I need to have read more than one book. So I can't say Peter Wolben, however you pronounce his last name. I can't say Imani Thompson because I've only read one book from her. And I can't say, where are we? I can't say Monica Kim because I have read from her before. So I had to look through my reading and see which authors I had enjoyed the most and also read multiple books from. And really the only author available is Nevo, who wrote the Singing Hills cycle. So none of the books were 5 stars for me as of yet. Maybe they will grow as I sit with them, but there were 2 installments of the Singing Hills cycle that were 4.75 stars for me, and that was book 2 and book 3. So When the Tiger Came Down the Mountain and Into the Riverlands. Loved both of those. The rest of the series so far that I've read is sitting between a 4 and a 4.5 star as well. So clearly I really enjoy the series. I really enjoy Nevo's writing, so it makes sense that she would be my new to me favorite author. I'm just looking for another book. There she is. Oh, let's see if I can get it. I have stitches in my shoulder from a cancerous mole, potentially, that has been removed, so I'm not allowed to stretch my arm. This I would also consider a new favourite author, and that is Mary Wollstonecraft, who is Mary Shelley's mum. I read A Vindication of the Rights of Women recently did I finish this in May? Yeah. And you can see I have tabbed the ever-living fuck out of it. Lots of annotations, lots to think about in this book. So I definitely enjoyed her writing, and I am going to be looking for a couple of the other. Pretty much this whole back section is notes on the text and a bibliography of all of the things that she referenced in other works. So I am going to be going through this and picking up any other authors that are talked about in here that reference her work, and also any of the other works that she has written herself. She only got to publish a few pieces of work before she passed, so yeah, that's unfortunate. However, she is definitely a new favourite author of mine, and I have been deep diving feminist literature from the past and reading into that. I also recently read, it's not in here, I don't think. Did I bring it back in? No, I think it's still out in the lounge room. I also recently read the Penguin Book of Feminist Writings, which includes snippets from all different time periods with all different feminist writers. Mary Wollstonecraft is included in that, and it's just a snippet from Vindication of the Rights of Women. So I didn't enjoy that one as much because I was getting a taste of all of this, all of the authors, but I wasn't getting to read anything substantial. The next question is newest fictional crush, but I am skipping that one because I never have a fictional crush on book characters. So there's no point in me trying to answer that because there won't be one. Newest favourite character? Newest favourite character. Actually, I do really like Lily and Sharky from For Whom the Bell Tolls. So I'm going to say both of them. Lily and Sharky from For Who the Bell. Lily and Sharky from Whom the Bell Tolls. That is a tongue twister. A book that has made you cry. Clockwork Princess, I cried. What's the other one? The Hidden Life of Trees, I cried. Yeah, I cried in a lot of books this year, but crying whilst reading a book is one of the things that makes me love a book, so I'm not mad about it. A book that made me happy would be The Ornithologist's Field Guide to Love by India Holton. This is just so cute and wholesome. The yearning, the humour, I love the way this is written. And another one where I am skeptical and a bit nervous to read the sequels, but absolutely loved the initial book in the series. The next question is the most beautiful book that you have bought or received this year. And I have a 3-part answer to this. And that's because I recently received my birthday present to myself. Let me put the mic down. Hopefully you can still hear me. I purchased the 10-year locked library anniversary editions of the Nevernight Chronicles by J. Kristoff. So we have Nevernight. Beautiful, beautiful. We have God's Grave. Stunning. And we have Dark Dawn. Yeah, Dark Dawn. So not only are the dust jackets stunning, but the naked books are incredible. So well thought out. There are beautiful end pages with quotes, and then on the back of each book is a foiled signature. Beautiful. And each of the books has... Sorry, don't mind me. Look at that. Oh, I cannot. Each of the books has a built-in bookmark ribbon. A built-in bookmark ribbon that has the Nevernight Chronicles. It says, never flinch, never fear, never forget, never flinch, never fear, never forget, never flinch, never fear, over and over again. And they all color coordinate with the book itself. So these are definitely the most beautiful books that I have purchased this year, and probably will remain the most beautiful books that I own. So I am obsessed with them. I love this series so much. So beautiful. Yeah, this is the foiled signature. And also the back is also foiled on all of the books. So I can't decide how to display these on my shelf. I really love the naked foiled covers. There's the bookmark for this one as well. I love the naked covers. I love the dust jackets. I love the spreads. I just don't know how to display them. I feel like I'm going to have to rotate it every now and again. But yes, these are my new pride and joy, my new babies. Aren't they just beautiful? These are definitely the most beautiful books that I own. So then we have question 13, and it is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? And for this question, I am going to refer to my progress of my 26 books in 2026. I literally just posted a progress update. So out of the 26 books, I have read only 9. So I do need to speed up a little bit in terms of picking these to read and prioritizing these. So I have The Queen by Nick Cutter, Reconstruction by Elia Dawn Johnson, Monstrilio by Gerardo Simano Cordova, Lonely Castle in the Mirror by Mizuki Sujimara, I think it is. Well, I can't see it anywhere at the moment, but yes, The Lonely Castle in the Mirror by Mizuki, I think it is Sujimara, but I will put it up here. Ray Bearer by Jordan Ifueko, The Mothers by Britt Bennett, How High We Go in the Dark by Sakoa Nagamatsu, Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zona, Earthlings by Sayaka Murata, The Lamb by Lucy Rose, The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reed, Wolfworm by Wolfworm by T. Kingfisher, Wretch by Eric Laverca, Japanese Gothic by Kylie Lee Baker, The Library After Dark by Andy Pliego, The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson, and The Master and the Margarita, or The Master and Margarita by Mikhail Bulgakov. That just reminded me as well, another beautiful book that I recently acquired and own. Very impressed with this one. It is my first special edition book box subscription. I subscribed to the Evernight book box by Illumicrate, and I received Japanese Gothic by Kylie Lee Baker, their special edition. We've got the blood-stained end pages. Beautiful, and the foiled spine. And I'm going to show you the inside, but trigger warning, it is pretty gruesome, so just be warned. We have the end pages. And end pages. And then I think the front cover also, yeah. And then this is the naked, this is the naked hardback. So it's got a full design with foiling and all sorts of artwork on it. So very cool and beautiful, and I can't wait to read it. Yeah, this one's also signed by Kylie Lee Baker. She wrote Bat Eater and other names for Cora Zhang. Here it's just called Bat Eater in Australia. But yes, that is that. So that's all the questions for the mid-year reading wrap-up. I am happy with how my reading has gone so far. I would like to be a little bit more consistent on here and on Instagram as well, but I am also happy with how I'm going on here, because previously I had uploaded maybe 2 to 3 videos a year, maybe, if I was lucky. And since moving into this house, I have uploaded, aside from the last 2 months, at least 1 video a month. So my consistency is getting more consistent, which is fantastic. And I hope to make many more videos about my reading. I definitely want to do a library tour, because I haven't pretty much finished all of the bookshelves that I'm going to have. Potentially might have a couple of standalone bookshelves coming. I haven't decided yet. But otherwise, this is all I can fit in here. So this is how it's going to be. So I feel like a tour is in order. I also want to go through all of the books that I have been gifted or have purchased this year as a kind of starting point for book hauls, because I want to be able to look back on all of the books that I purchased and see how I go reading them. And yeah, that's about it for today. So let me know what your best book of 2026 is so far. And also let me know what was your biggest surprise, because I love a book that is underratedly good. Something that, I don't know if underratedly is a word, but something that you went into not expecting the most and it blew your expectations out of the water. I want to know what that is because I want that feeling. Also, if you have any recommendations for hard-hitting books, they can be fantasy or contemporary or literary or any of the above genres, but I'm really looking for a hard-hitting book to read right now. I think that it could be Weird Girl, it could be dark academia, it could be high fantasy, it could be grimdark, literally anything. I'm willing to try anything. And bonus points if I already own it. So, not that you know that, but yeah, I'm feeling the inkling to read something hard hitting. So, let me know in the comments below. And I will see you all soon in the next video. Bye.